from engaging in banned moves to off-screen drama. On the wild side of wrestling, the ring isn't always big enough for everyone. In this video, I'll show you 15 wrestlers who found themselves on the wrong side of the rules and got banned, and then their insane reactions to the ban. Sexy Star. The landscape for Sexy Star shifted dramatically at Mexico's Triple Mania event. In a shocking turn of events, Sexy Star applied an armbar on fellow wrestler Rosemary with excessive force, transitioning from a choreographed performance to an injurious shoot. And even when everyone tried to get her to stop, Sexy Star just wouldn't.
Let her know it's over. Let go. Let go.
This breach of trust, the cardinal sin in professional wrestling, shattered her image. Wrestlers are artisans of illusion, their bodies the tools of their craft, and trust is the unspoken bond that allows them to ply their trade. By breaking this bond, Sexy Star crossed an unforgivable line. The backlash was swift and universal. Industry veterans and peers, including the influential Chris Jericho, publicly condemned her actions. The wrestling community is tight-knit, its members bound by an understanding of the risks they collectively face. To endanger one of their own is to become an outcast, and Sexy Star's actions placed her firmly outside the circle of trust. Sexy Star was a name that once resonated with promise and empowerment in the wrestling world, particularly within the lucha libre circuit, and became synonymous with controversy and a cautionary tale. Her rise in Lucha Underground, where she broke barriers as a female champion, captivated audiences and positioned her as a trailblazer for women in wrestling. Her matches, especially the No Mas submission bout with Mariposa, were heralded as groundbreaking. Sexy Star was not just a wrestler, she was an inspiration, a symbol of tenacity in a male-dominated arena. WWE would not gamble on someone who had so flagrantly disregarded the safety and well-being of a colleague. Sexy Star's tale is a stark reminder that a single moment of indiscretion can overshadow years of dedication and achievement, leaving a legacy tarnished and a career in ruins. While Sexy Star's ban stemmed from a wellness policy violation, this next wrestler was caught on tape using the N-word on a guy his daughter was dating. Hulk Hogan.
Are you a racist?
No, I'm not. I'm not a racist. I never should have said what I said.
Hulk Hogan's name is etched in the annals of wrestling history as the man who helped catapult WWE into a global phenomenon. His iconic red and yellow attire, the unmistakable sound of real American blaring through the speakers, and the immortal phrase, "What you gonna do, brother?" became synonymous with professional wrestling. Hogan's larger-than-life persona and his role in the rock and wrestling connection of the 1980s made him a household name and a hero to millions. Despite his legendary status, Hogan's relationship with WWE has been tumultuous. After reaching the pinnacle of the industry and experiencing a storied career that spanned decades, Hogan found himself embroiled in a scandal that shook his legacy to its core. Audio recordings surfaced of Hogan making racially insensitive remarks, leading to a public outcry and immediate action from WWE. The company severed ties with Hogan, scrubbing him from their Hall of Fame and erasing his presence from their programming, a move that reflected WWE's commitment to its public image and its zero-tolerance policy for such behavior. The controversy surrounding Hogan's comments not only tarnished his reputation, but also highlighted the complexities of heroism and fallibility. Hogan's fall from grace was a sobering reminder that even the most iconic figures are not immune to the consequences of their actions. In recent times, there have been signs of a possible reconciliation, with WWE making subtle references to Hogan once again. However, the damage done to his relationship with the company and his standing with fans has left an indelible mark. Hulk Hogan's story is a cautionary tale of how legacy and cultural impact can be overshadowed by personal failings, leaving the future of his relationship with WWE uncertain. Buff Bagwell. Buff Bagwell's journey in professional wrestling is a tale of transformation and tumult. From his early days as a fresh-faced babyface in World Championship Wrestling, WCW, to his evolution into a smug, charismatic heel, Bagwell's persona captivated fans. His chiseled physique and larger-than-life character made him a standout in the WCW roster, and many speculated that his star would only rise higher upon WCW's acquisition by WWE. However, Bagwell's WWE career was short-lived and marred by a single disastrous match on Monday Night Raw against Booker T. This bout, intended to introduce WCW stars to the WWE audience, fell flat, and the negative reception played a significant role in WWE's decision to abandon the WCW brand as a separate entity. Bagwell's performance that night became a defining moment, but not in the way he had hoped. Adding to his in-ring woes, Bagwell faced personal challenges that further complicated his relationship with WWE. Notably, an incident where his mother allegedly called in sick on his behalf became a notorious story story within the industry. Jim Ross, a prominent figure in WWE, has repeatedly cited this as a significant factor in Bagwell's release from the company. Bagwell has contested this narrative, suggesting a conspiracy to prevent WCW talent from succeeding in WWE. As time passed, Bagwell's pursuits outside the ring, including a stint as a male escort, seemed to cement WWE's disinterest in any potential return. The combination of lackluster in-ring performance, questionable professionalism, and activities outside of wrestling that WWE may deem unsuitable for their brand image have all contributed to Bagwell's estrangement from the company. Bagwell says the ban made him depressed, but there was only one thing that kept him going.
At least the fans knew I got screwed. The fans know, and still know, that Buff Bagwell got gypped, man.
Buff Bagwell's time in WWE was full of missed opportunities and controversy. The next wrestler's story, however, is about assault. Nails, an imposing figure clad in an orange prison jumpsuit, entered the WWE landscape as a nemesis for the Big Boss Man, embodying the role of a vengeful ex-convict. His character, built on intimidation and retribution, was a product of early 90s storytelling, where larger-than-life personas were the norm. The feud with the Big Boss Man was a classic good versus evil clash, and it seemed to set the stage for Nails to become a memorable villain in the WWE universe. However, Nails' tenure in WWE was cut short by an incident that has become one of the most notorious in wrestling history. In a confrontation with Vince McMahon over financial disputes and creative differences, Nails took matters into his own hands, quite literally. The altercation turned physical, with Nails allegedly assaulting McMahon.
He squashed a lot of people's careers, he squashed a lot of people's livelihoods, and people just didn't say what was on their mind. They were afraid to talk to him. So, he ran into the wrong guy.
The incident led to Nails' immediate dismissal and a subsequent legal battle that included accusations against McMahon that many found dubious. The fallout from this confrontation was irreparable. Nails' actions not only ended his WWE career, but also left a stain on his professional reputation. His willingness to physically confront his employer was a breach of conduct that reverberated throughout the industry, signaling to other promotions the potential risks associated with his hiring. Nails' story in WWE is a stark reminder of how quickly a wrestler's fortunes can change, and how actions born out of anger and frustration can lead to professional exile. His brief but impactful presence in WWE is often overshadowed by the infamous altercation that ended his run, a moment that has been etched into the annals of wrestling infamy. While Nails' ban stemmed from a policy violation, this next wrestler's departure was due to personal issues. Ken Shamrock. Once hailed as the world's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock's transition from the gritty octagons of mixed martial arts to the grand stages of WWE in the late 1990s was nothing short of seismic. Shamrock brought a level of legitimacy and raw intensity to the Attitude Era, a time when WWE was reinventing itself with a more adult-oriented product. His feuds with icons like The Rock and Owen Hart are etched in the annals of wrestling history, showcasing a blend of technical prowess and unbridled aggression. However, the tides turned for Shamrock following his WWE tenure. He ventured back into the world of MMA and made sporadic appearances in TNA and on the independent circuit. Despite his in-ring achievements, Shamrock's demands for high booking fees and a perceived overestimation of his drawing power left promoters hesitant. His star, once burning bright in the WWE firmament, began to dim. The rift between Shamrock and WWE widened in the years that followed. In interviews, Shamrock's outspoken nature surfaced, revealing a man who still saw himself as a top-tier competitor, even suggesting a dream match against Brock Lesnar well into his 50s. But it was his public criticism of Triple H, claiming the King of Kings was envious of Shamrock's abilities, that truly severed ties. In the unforgiving world of professional wrestling, where relationships are as crucial as in-ring talent, such comments are tantamount to career sabotage. Next up is Alberto Del Rio. Alberto Del Rio. Alberto Del Rio's WWE career was a tale of two distinct chapters, each marked by success and scandal. With his aristocratic persona and legitimate combat sports background, Del Rio quickly ascended WWE's ranks, capturing multiple world championships and headlining major events. His in-ring prowess and charisma made him a standout performer, and it seemed WWE had found a superstar who could resonate with a diverse audience. However, Del Rio's first departure from WWE was shrouded in controversy. He was released following an altercation with a company company employee, an incident that Del Rio claimed was sparked by racially insensitive remarks. The wrestling community was divided, with some rallying behind Del Rio's stance against discrimination, while others questioned his conduct. In a surprising turn of events, Del Rio returned to WWE, but the second act of his tenure lacked the luster of the first. His performances were criticized as lackluster, and the creative direction for his character seemed aimless. Discontent grew, and Del Rio once again parted ways with WWE, this time amidst a swirl of negative publicity. Post-WWE, Del Rio's outspoken nature surfaced as he leveled criticism against the company and key figures within it, including Triple H. His remarks, often scathing and personal, burned bridges and made the possibility of a third WWE run increasingly unlikely. Alberto Del Rio's story is one of squandered potential and fiery departures. His career, though decorated with accolades, is overshadowed by the circumstances of his exit from WWE. It's a narrative that underscores the delicate balance between talent and temperament, and how quickly the tides of favor can turn in the wrestling world. Del Rio's legacy in WWE is a complex one, marked by both triumph and tumult, leaving fans to wonder what might have been if circumstances had unfolded differently. Moving on to the seventh wrestler banned from WWE. New Jack. New Jack's name is synonymous with the hardcore style of wrestling, where the lines between performance and reality are often blurred. His tenure in Extreme Championship Wrestling, ECW, was marked by a no-holds-barred approach that pushed the envelope of violence and spectacle. New Jack's matches were less about technical skill and more about shock value, with bloodshed and weapon use as common as headlocks and body slams. However, New Jack's reputation extended beyond the ring. He was known for a volatile temper and a willingness to take liberties with his opponent's safety. The most infamous incident in his career, known as the Mass Transit Incident, saw New Jack take on an untrained and underage wrestler. The match ended in a brutal assault that left the young man severely injured and led to legal action against New Jack and ECW. But Jack, in his defense, said the kid has asked him to get brutal.
He said, I want to bleed. But he said, I've never done it before. He said, I never gave before. So will you do it for me?
But many faulted why he would take on something like that. The incident, among others, cemented New Jack's image as a liability, a wrestler whose unpredictable nature made him a pariah in the industry. BWE, with its global brand and family-friendly aspirations, steered clear of New Jack, unwilling to associate with a performer whose style and history ran counter to the company's ethos. New Jack's legacy in wrestling is a complex one. To some, he's a cult hero, an embodiment of ECW's extreme ethos. To others, he's a cautionary figure, a reminder of the dangers when the scripted violence of professional wrestling veers into genuine harm. His exclusion from WWE is a testament to the company's commitment to a certain standard of professionalism and safety, a standard that New Jack, with his controversial and often dangerous approach to the sport, could never reconcile with. Speaking of reconciliation, this next wrestler is one that rumors say the WWE is unable to forgive. Conan. Conan's foray into the WWE universe was brief but memorable, as he donned the futuristic garb of Max Moon, a character that promised to bring a new level of excitement to the squared circle. Behind the mask was a wrestler with a rich history in Mexico, where he was revered as a top luchador and a pioneer of the Mexican wrestling scene. Conan's charisma and in-ring ability had already made him an international sensation, and his arrival in WWE was met with great expectations. However, the relationship between Conan and WWE was short-lived. Creative differences and dissatisfaction with the direction of his character led to Conan's departure, leaving the Max Moon persona behind after only a few appearances. The investment WWE had made in the character, both financially and creatively, made Conan's exit all the more disappointing for the company. Following his stint in WWE, Conan solidified his legacy in Mexico and later became a key figure in WCW, where he was a member of the influential NWO Wolfpack. His success outside of WWE only seemed to deepen the divide between him and the company he briefly called home. Rumors have persisted that WWE harbors a lingering resentment towards Conan, not only for his abrupt departure, but also for his subsequent affiliations with rival promotions. This perceived animosity has reportedly influenced WWE's willingness to work with other talents associated with Conan, further isolating him from the WWE landscape. Conan's journey in wrestling is a testament to his impact on the industry, yet his strained relationship with WWE serves as a reminder of the delicate nature of wrestler promotion dynamics. Despite his achievements, Conan remains a figure on the periphery of WWE history, his potential within the company unrealized, and his contributions overshadowed by what might have been. While the WWE was discontent with Conan, this next wrestler was discontent with the WWE and was very vocal about it. CM Punk.
I mean, talking about wrestling and me doing anything in the wrestling arena is it always feels kind of weird and uncomfortable.
CM Punk's tenure in WWE was a revolution, a stark departure from the norm that electrified the wrestling world. With his pipe bomb promos and anti-establishment persona, Punk became the voice of the voiceless, challenging the status quo and advocating for change within the industry. His rise to prominence was marked by his 2 WWE championship reigns, including a historic 434-day run that solidified his place at the top of the company. However, Punk's relationship with WWE was fraught with tension and dissatisfaction. Behind the scenes, Punk was vocal about his grievances regarding creative direction, wrestler health and wellness, and the overall treatment of talent. These issues came to a head when Punk abruptly left WWE in 2014, walking out after the Royal Rumble and effectively severing ties with the company. The aftermath of Punk's departure was contentious, with both sides engaging in a war of words. Punk's explosive tell-all interview on Colt Cabana's podcast laid bare his frustrations with WWE, from storylines to medical care, and painted a picture of a company in need of reform. The fallout included legal battles and further estrangement, making Punk's return to WWE seem an impossibility. CM Punk's legacy in WWE is that of a trailblazer and a rebel, a wrestler who captivated audiences with his authenticity and willingness to speak his mind. His departure left a void in WWE programming and sparked conversations about the nature of the wrestling business. While Vince McMahon has shown a propensity for mending fences with past talent, the personal nature of Punk's exit and his subsequent ventures into the world of mixed martial arts and comic book writing suggests a man who has moved on from the world of professional wrestling. Punk's story is a reminder of the complex relationship between performer and platform and the enduring impact of a superstar who dared to be different. While CM Punk did the talking, Colt Cabana was left to live with the impact. Colt Cabana. Colt Cabana's wrestling career is a patchwork of indie spirit and brief brushes with mainstream fame. Known for his comedic style and affable personality, Cabana's stint in WWE was fleeting as he donned the guise of Scotty Goldman on the ECW brand. Despite his potential, Cabana's charisma failed to translate within the WWE framework, leading to an unceremonious release that sent him back to the independent circuit where he flourished. Cabana's impact on wrestling, however, extends beyond the ring. He became a pioneer in wrestling podcasting with The Art of Wrestling, a show that gave fans an unprecedented look behind the curtain, featuring intimate conversations with fellow wrestlers about the highs and lows of their craft. This platform would inadvertently become the stage for one of the most explosive moments in wrestling's modern era.
When I split in January,
Okay.
they changed everything. And part of me thinks they changed a lot of stuff to spite me.
The controversy that would cement Cabana's estrangement from WWE came when he provided a platform for his friend and fellow wrestler, CM Punk, to air a litany of grievances against the company. The podcast episode sent shockwaves through the industry, with Punk's candid and scathing critique of WWE's creative direction, medical practices, and treatment of talent. The fallout included legal battles that further strained Cabana's relationship with WWE, making his return to the company an unlikely prospect. Colt Cabana's tale is one of a wrestler who found his niche outside the confines of WWE's empire, becoming a beloved figure on the indie scene and a respected voice in wrestling media. Yet, his association with CM Punk's infamous podcast has cast a long shadow, positioning him as an outsider to WWE's corporate structure and a symbol of the tension between wrestling's establishment and its more rebellious elements. At number 11 of wrestlers that have been banned from the WWE is Daniel Bryan, but this time it was out of love. Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan's ascent in WWE is a narrative of relentless determination and unwavering fan support. Standing in stark contrast to the prototypical WWE superstar, Bryan's modest stature and technical wrestling style endeared him to audiences who saw in him the embodiment of an underdog. His journey to the top of WWE was punctuated by the Yes movement, a fan-driven phenomenon that propelled him to headline WrestleMania and capture the WWE World Heavyweight Championship in a moment that epitomized the power of the wrestling fan base. However, Bryan's in-ring career was abruptly halted due to a series of concussions and neck injuries, leading to a premature retirement that left the WWE universe in collective heartbreak. Despite his physical setbacks, Bryan remained an integral part of WWE programming as the SmackDown general manager, where his wit and charm continued to shine, albeit outside the ring. Bryan's passion for wrestling never waned, and his desire to return to in-ring competition was palpable. He sought medical opinions outside of WWE's purview, with specialists thus suggesting he could safely compete again. Nevertheless, WWE's medical team remained steadfast in their decision to not clear him for action, citing the long-term health risks and the company's stringent concussion protocols. The impasse between Bryan's personal convictions and WWE's medical stance has been a source of ongoing speculation and fan discourse. While Bryan has expressed a willingness to wrestle elsewhere once his WWE contract expires, the company's reluctance to clear him for in-ring competition has effectively banned him from performing as a wrestler under their banner. Daniel Bryan's story is one of triumph and adversity. A wrestler revered for his technical acumen and connection with fans, yet sidelined by the very physicality that made him a star. His saga with WWE is a poignant chapter in the annals of wrestling, illustrating the delicate balance between athlete well-being and the demands of the sport. Next up is a player whose WWE snub stems from poor work attitude. Mr. Kennedy. Mr. Kennedy burst onto the WWE scene with a microphone descending from the rafters and a voice that echoed through arenas, announcing himself as the future of the industry. His unique charisma and self-assured swagger captured the imagination of fans and officials alike. Kennedy's potential seemed limitless when he secured the coveted Money in the Bank briefcase, signaling a future ascent to the championship. However, the spotlight that once shone so brightly on Mr. Kennedy began to flicker. A series of injuries plagued his career, each one halting his momentum and pushing his main event dreams further out of reach. The setbacks were not only physical, but also reputational, as whispers of unsafe in-ring work and a difficult demeanor backstage began to circulate. The final blow to Kennedy's WWE career came in the form of an in-ring incident involving Randy Orton, a top-tier WWE superstar. The match saw Kennedy execute a move that Orton deemed dangerous, leading to a heated backstage confrontation. This altercation, coupled with Kennedy's history of injuries and perceived recklessness, led to his release from the company. Post-WWE, Mr. Kennedy found a new home in TNA, where he enjoyed a resurgence of sorts, capturing championships and reclaiming some of the stardom that had eluded him. Yet his outspoken nature followed him as he publicly criticized WWE's management and Orton, further alienating himself from any potential return to the company. The story of Mr. Kennedy is one of unfulfilled promise, a wrestler whose initial rise suggested a storied career, only for it to be derailed by a combination of misfortune and controversy. In the unforgiving world of WWE, Kennedy's tale serves as a reminder that the path to superstardom is fraught with pitfalls that can quickly transform a rising star into a cautionary tale. While Mr. Kennedy couldn't act right, this next player couldn't fight the urge to use a banned move. Juventud Guerrera. Juventud Guerrera, the youth warrior, soared into the hearts of wrestling fans with his high-flying luchador style, becoming a staple of WCW's cruiserweight division. His mask, a symbol of lucha libre tradition, and his aerial prowess set him apart in an era where the pace of wrestling was accelerating. Guerrera's transition to WWE, post-WCW's demise, was met with anticipation as fans awaited the continuation of his thrilling in-ring performances. However, Guerrera's WWE tenure was marred by a defiance that would ultimately lead to his downfall. In an era when WWE was becoming increasingly cautious about the risks of high-flying maneuvers, a series of in-ring accidents prompted the company to impose restrictions on certain moves. Among these was the 450 Splash, a breathtaking but dangerous maneuver that had become one of Guerrera's signatures. Despite explicit instructions to avoid the banned move, Guerrera, in a moment of rebellion, executed the 450 Splash during a match, disregarding the potential for injury and the company's directive. This act of insubordination was the final straw for WWE management, leading to Guerrera's release and effectively ending his career in the company. Juventud Guerrera's story is a cautionary tale of talent and temerity clashing with the evolving safety standards of professional wrestling. His unwillingness to adapt to WWE's changing landscape not only cost him his spot on the roster, but also left a blemish on his record with the largest wrestling promotion in the world. It's a narrative that highlights the delicate balance wrestlers must maintain between their artistry and the edicts of the organizations for which they perform. Next up, Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett's saga in the wrestling world is a roller coaster of ambition, controversy, and entrepreneurial spirit. As the progeny of promoter Jerry Jarrett, Jeff was wrestling royalty, navigating the industry with an innate understanding of its inner workings. His tenure in WWE saw him capture multiple championships, and his savvy during the Monday Night Wars allowed him to play WE and WCW against each other, maximizing his earnings and spotlight. However, Jarrett's departure from WWE is where the plot thickens, mired in a tale of defiance and high-stakes stakes negotiation. On the eve of his transition back to WCW, Jarrett found himself in the unique position of being the reigning Intercontinental Champion while his WWE contract had expired. The story that unfolded has become the stuff of wrestling legend. Jarrett allegedly leveraged this situation to secure a substantial payout from Vince McMahon to drop the title to Chyna, WWE's groundbreaking female wrestler, in what would be his final match for the company. This act of brinkmanship left a sour taste in McMahon's mouth, famously leading to a live on-air denouncement during the infamous simulcast, where WWE announced its acquisition of WCW. McMahon declared that Jarrett would never again be employed by WWE, a statement that seemed to seal Jarrett's fate within the company. In response to his ostracization, Jarrett took matters into his own hands, co-founding Total Nonstop Action, TNA Wrestling, a promotion that would become WWE's most significant competitor for a time. This bold move further solidified his banishment from WWE, as he had not only defied McMahon, but also dared to challenge the Empire. And finally, at number 1, David Benoit. David Benoit. The world of professional wrestling often feels like a family business, with the torch passed from one generation to the next. David Benoit, son of the late Chris Benoit, grew up in the shadow of a legacy that was both remarkable and tragic.
Wrestling world in shock today. Former champion Chris Benoit found dead in his Atlanta home along with his wife and young son. Police now treating the discovery as a double murder-suicide.
Chris Benoit was a technical maestro, a wrestler's wrestler, whose intensity and dedication to the craft were unparalleled. Yet his life ended in a harrowing tragedy that sent shockwaves through the industry and beyond, leaving a dark cloud over the Benoit name. David Benoit's journey in wrestling is a tale of dreams unfulfilled and doors unopened. In an industry where lineage can be a golden ticket, David's heritage became a burden too heavy to bear. The heinous actions of his father, who took the lives of his wife and son before ending his own, cast a long and inescapable shadow. The wrestling world reeled, and WWE in particular found itself at the epicenter of a media maelstrom, grappling with the implications of steroid abuse and the long-term effects of concussions. For David, the path to WWE seemed forever barred, the Benoit name synonymous with a chapter the company wished to close forever. Despite any personal aspirations or potential talent, the association with one of wrestling's most notorious figures made David's presence in WWE untenable. The company's aversion to the Benoit family is not just a matter of public relations, it is a reflection of a deep-seated desire to distance itself from a past that tarnished the spectacle of wrestling with a grim dose of reality. If you enjoyed this video, click on the boxes playing on your screen to watch similar content.